This minestrone soup is actually my grandma's recipe. My mum gave it to me years ago when I left home to go to college. As kids we used to call it jungle soup, and I think all these vegetables that you see here are a good indication of why we used to call it that. Soup is really basically a vegetable stew. It's based on the holy trinity of onion, carrots and celery with some garlic. And added to that, there's potato, beans, cabbage. This is actually Savoy cabbage. You can tell from the crinkliness in the leaves. Canned tomatoes, and these are diced tomatoes, no flavorings. We're going to put enough flavoring in ourselves, we don't need that. And last but not least, actually, some Parmesan cheese. And I'm actually going to just trim the rind off and put that in the soup. Grandma trick, of course. It's going to make it more flavorful. In fact, there's so many vegetables in this soup, we're not actually going to be using any stock. One of the good things about this soup is that if you have a sore mouth from treatment, you can literally just blend this and you'll get a deliciously smooth, nutritious soup. So let's get going. We pre-cut everything, but I just wanted to show you how to do the cabbage. Now, we've already cut it in half, and all we're going to need for this soup is just a quarter of this cabbage. So I'm just going to cut the core out here. That's hard. You could dice that up and put it in with the other vegetables if you really want to. And then just going to, these big leaves, I'm going to take them off and cut out the ribs. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is just literally shave have a sharp knife to do this. And then just cut it once down the middle. So now I've got these little shreds of cabbage. Now these outer leaves, the dark green ones, I'm not going to throw these out. They're good in their own right. I'm just going to cut them a little differently. I'm going to roll them up. Do what's called a chiffonade. See how we're keeping the point of the knife down. And then I'm just going to cut those across as well. So that's now ready to go in the soup. So let's go to the stove. So the flame is now medium high. I'm going to put in some olive oil. It's about 2 tablespoons. You don't need that much to make a big bowl of soup, because as it heats it expands. I'm going to put in some garlic now. Just wait for this to this sizzles and takes on a little bit of colour, which should just be a little bit like pale gold. Then we're going to add in the rest of the vegetables. I'm going to put in also the bay leaf. Okay, they're just starting to turn colour now. You can see they're just getting a very, very, very little bit of golden brown colour. And that means that the garlic won't have a raw taste in the soup. Right, so now I'm going to put in the onion. The celery. Now the celery is kind of great. It's got natural salt in it. And the carrot. Now I'm going to put in the potato. We've got quite a big potato here, so I'm not going to put all of this in. It should be about the same amount of onion, carrot, potato, and so put a little bit of salt on top. That's going to help bring out the juice. Then I'm going to turn the heat down to low and partially cover. So now we've, you can see in here that the onions have got transparent and the vegetables have softened a little bit. Now it's time to put in the cabbage. I'm just going to saute this and turn the heat up a little bit. until the cabbage starts to wilt, and I'm going to put it in handfuls. Now this is going to start wilting a little bit from the heat. You can see how it's changing colour from the raw cabbage, which is kind of pale. It's getting more intense. You can see also it's losing some of its liquid. I'll put a little bit more salt on there. To help this along. The salt will pull out the moisture from the cabbage. Right, now it's ready to add the tomato. Now this is about a cup. This just has to get cooked. The tomato has to get cooked a little bit on the in the hot pan, and it'll change colour a little bit. It'll start to go a little bit orangey. Now I'm just going to get some water. Now I'm sort of very much about waste not, want not, and if I use a can or a box of tomatoes, I'll fill the can up with water. So you've got about the same amount of water as you have tomato, and you can use stock if you want to for this, but there's so many veggie flavours in here, I don't believe that you need it. Okay. A bit more water, just to cover. Bring the heat up so we can bring it to a boil. And there's one last secret ingredient to go in here. Parmesan. Now, I always keep these at home. This is hard. But it will give a lot of, it won't make it cheesy, it'll give a lot of savouriness to the soup. As you can see, it's more like a stew. You can actually put more water in if you like a runnier soup. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid on and let it cook for about 20 minutes, just until all the vegetables are soft. I'm going to put in some whole stems of flat leaf parsley, and I always like to use these big fat guys here. Let's put that on top, put the lid on, and then just leave it to cook for about 20 minutes until the vegetables are soft. This is the parsley, see it's cooked down, and this just adds flavour very mildly. And now we're going to put in beans. Now we have a couple of different sorts of beans here. I was brought up, with either red kidney beans or the borlotti beans, or you can put in white cannellini beans. For this one, we're just going to put in the kidney beans. And I'm going to put in some pasta. Now these are little whole wheat elbows, which you basically put in anything you like. I'm going to put in a couple of handfuls. We don't really want too many of them. I'm just going to let this cook now until the pasta is tender, and then it's ready to eat. There's one last thing that we're going to be putting into this as we serve it, and that's going to be some of the fresh basil that you saw earlier on. Okay, we're going to finish off the soup with the basil. You can see this is just gorgeous. Because it's from the garden, it couldn't be much fresher. Just wait till they wilt, and then it's ready to serve. Grandma's minestrone.